Hope is a beautiful and yet mysterious thing. At times it's a joyous thing, and in other moments of life it has this kind of terrifying aspect to it. I think this is why we give ourselves away to it and get lost in it. Like when we read about it or hear about it in a song, our souls are moved by it. We immediately connect the dots when we encounter and experience the wonder of hope, like a sunrise. Have you ever seen the ocean at night? The way the waves glisten underneath the moon and the stars, the rhythm of the waves as they kiss the shore. It really is a wondrous and beautiful thing. I thought I knew what beauty and wonder were, and then my son was born. The blood that flowed from my heart to my head would never be the same, because I didn't know I was able to love someone I hardly knew with such capacity. But we were connected, and I felt alive with purpose with this new person in my life. I wondered if my son knew deep in his spirit that his father loved him greatly, how his father would do anything for him at any cost. I wondered if he knew just how valuable and worthy he was in his father's eyes. Back in high school, my family and I took a vacation to Hawaii, and during our trip, we visited the Pearl Harbor Memorial Site. We even had the opportunity to take a boat ride out on the water where it all happened. From the boat, I remember looking down and there was this thin layer of film-like substance lingering in the water. Later on, we were informed by our tour guide that this was the remnant of all the oil and fuel matter from the sunken ships. And it hit me all these years later, that over half a century later and the mess from a long time ago was still there. Things happened a long time ago, and it shaped us. It affects us in all sorts of ways, even in all the decisions we make, the things we think, say, do. I remember one time going to the beach in the early morning hours before the sun rose. There was a certain ferociousness within the water as the waves rushed in and out, colliding with each other. It was while my eyes were magnetized to the violence of water, I couldn't help but reflect on moments of chaos in my own life. It's like all my fears, doubts, betrayals, lies were in that water. There was a point in my life where I didn't think I was going to make it to my 27th birthday. And because I thought my life wasn't worth living for, I tried ending it. Like the remnant of oil and tragedy in the water at Pearl Harbor, there was this suffering I hadn't faced and grieved. Most of my early adult life was filled with failure and suffering. Living a life aimlessly, conflicted with my purpose and identity. My marriage unfolded in a divorce, and I lost 3 of my family members within just a couple of years. But I think what broke my heart the most was being separated from my son. I remember coming to an empty home only to stare at his abandoned toys. I'd bury my face in a blanket of his just to smell his scent. Kissing him every week caused my heart to ache. I remember the sound of ice cream trucks in the neighborhood left me broken. When we're cut off from those we love, it can almost feel as though there's nothing below or nothing above. Suffering filled my heart with anger, hardening it. Drugs and alcohol became my crutch, and using people became my outlet. But something happens to us when we strip people of their worth, their value, their humanity. We lose ours in the process. It's like my soul was dying on the inside. Our entire value and worth center around what we believe about ourselves. And so we have our own version of our story, what we've done, what has happened to us, who we've become, how much pain comes from not knowing who we are. Anger was like a poison I was carrying around, and it burned deep inside me. I felt alone, and like I was dying from the inside out. I immediately connected to the ocean's lonely cold body the night at the beach. But when I looked up, my eyes saw what my heart failed to see at the time, the stars. Against a canopy of blackness, they shine like diamonds, like tiny glimpses of hope. And then I remembered those who fought for my life with the kind of love that gives itself away when I had no strength to fight for myself. The stars reminded me of people who put flesh and blood on this kind of love that stood by me, despite my anger and my pain. And not the scripted, neat, clean, elusive, Hollywood kind of love, but the kind of love that is willing to love the weak, messy, broken things. I was loved into my future as though I was already the person I was meant to be. I remember I met a man in a hospital I was checked into. And even though he didn't know anything about me, he pulled me aside and told me my life was worth living and breathing for, and that something better was just around the corner. Maybe this is why Christ asked us to carry each other's burdens, because we find a piece of ourselves in the stories of others. And then, my eyes watched the sunrise. And I knew my life would never be the same again, because my story wasn't over. It was like the earth wasn't a cold, dead place for the first time in a long time. I remember staring at the sun. I remembered the dark night sky and the ocean, taking it all in. And it's like I had this choice. Do I continue to live in the story of fear and lies? Or do I choose to trust a better story, one of truth and beauty? So I tell this story because I choose something real, something true, something worth living and dying for, here and now, and I choose love. I'm learning that we were made to give ourselves away to love. Some nights we lose faith, and sometimes we are blind to ourselves. But may we remember that hope is real. May we be reminded that we are not alone when we look up to the stars tonight. And may we claim our healing when the sun rises in the morning. May we know deep in our souls that we are loved and that we are a prize worth fighting for. Our stories are not finished, and they've just begun, because God can make all things new. So may we live with open palms, ready to receive the new thing happening right here and right now. And may our lives be a response to this kind of hope that makes us alive, because it is here and now.